This is a video that I've been wanting to do for quite some time now, ever since Star Rail pretty much got me into wanting to play Honkai Impact 3rd. I reacted to all the cutscenes for Honkai Impact 3rd. I got into the game. I'm on chapter 30 now, which is literally almost the end of Kiana's arc. I think Kiana's arc ends in like chapter 35 or 36, something like that, 37, around there. So we're very close. I'll probably be able to finish that before part 2 comes out in late February for global. And the thing is, man, I love Star Rail. It's one of my favorite gacha games, or not even just gacha games, favorite games that I've played in the last like 10 years. And I know you might think I'm crazy if you haven't played Star Rail yet and you just think it's a gacha game. It is so much more. The story is great. The characters are great. The combat is so good. It takes, stuff from Trails of Cold Steel. It takes combat mechanics from that game, maybe even Persona-ish mechanics as well. It blends a lot of different mechanics from other games into their combat system, and it works really well. And I think that they're doing an amazing job updating and doing so many good events and making the Memory of Chaos a little bit harder, adding things to it, adding things like Swarm, and then the recent one we just got with Ruan Mei. The events are pretty enjoyable as well. They're pretty, free to play friendly as well. They give away a lot of currency, and there's always stuff to do to keep you, engaged in the game, like simulated universe, memory chaos, all that stuff. And I am enjoying it very much, but there's this fear that I have. Not even just a fear, but maybe like, yeah, I guess you could say fear, like fear of disappointment, like that I will be disappointed. I know a lot of people are not going to like this, but I feel like I need Star Rail to go down a darker path in terms of story. And I'm going to give it another year before I get my hopes up, right? And I'll still keep playing the game. I just will probably give up on the fact that it will ever be anywhere near what Honkai Impact 3rd story is. Now, maybe some of you have played Honkai Impact 3rd and you saw the visual novel type of storytelling. It is a very outdated game, which is getting a massive overhaul and update for UI, graphics, combat, everything. It's probably it's gonna look better than Star Rail, actually, when the part 2 comes out, which is gonna be a completely separate story that happens after the culmination of what Kiana's arc was. Getting back to my point, Honkai Impact 3rd is a very outdated game. It came out over 7 years ago, and for the time when it came out, it was incredible. The graphics were incredible. One of the first action combat gacha games that have been released on mobile. I believe it was almost 8 years ago now that came out, or at least over 7. And it did start off kind of rough, and it took about a year for the game to get good, right? Like, that's why I dropped it after 2 months, because there was only like 3 chapters, I think, of story. The story was kind of okay, right? It was, you could tell it was leading up to a certain point, but it never got there. It took forever to get updated because they had to keep like fixing the game because there was a lot of problems with it. And then it wasn't until 2.0, which was the 1 year mark and plus, which I believe 2.5 and up is when the story got really crazy. You guys have seen, I will show you guys while I'm talking here, this scene with Kiana transforming or being overtaken by the Hersher of the Void. Never played Honkai Impact before. The Hershers are, think of, if you're playing Star Rail, think of a Hersher as someone that has been corrupted by a Stellaron, right? From Star Rail, like kind of like how Cocolia was, right? That is what a Hersher is. That's why a lot of people will say that Cocolia, when she transformed into that ice form of hers, looked like the Hersher of Ice from Honkai Impact 3rd. Kiana got overtaken by a Hersher of the Void, and she went through this traumatic moment where she was abandoned as a child, right? And her father left her because he thought that she was going to, I don't want to spoil too much, okay? I don't want to spoil too much, but she was pretty much alone, very young in her childhood. Her father didn't abandon her, but there's a reason why he left when he did. It was to save her, and she was alone. She ended up getting enlisted into the St. Freya High, and there is a moment in the story where she goes through something which is similar to the simulated universe. And in that simulated universe, she sees what was her mother that she pretty much doesn't even remember because she was so young when her mother died, Cecilia. And she gets to spend time with her mother and, interact with her mother, hug her, hold her, cry in her arms, It was a very touching moment. And then he ends up finding out that all of this was a lie, and it is all, you know, a virtual world. And she ends up being tricked by the Herrscher of the Void, and the mother dies in that, you know, simulated universe that she's in, and or virtual world that she's in, and it completely just destroys her when she starts finding out things about her past, that she's a clone, that she's not the real Kiana. I know spoilers, but this is something you find out very early on, and it's kind of very important to what I'm trying to get at here in this explanation. And I know many of you probably won't even play Honkai Impact 3rd, because you'll probably sit through that virtual, you know, the storytelling, the visual novels type storytelling, and you'll probably say, I'm good, because a lot of people don't like that kind of storytelling. And so she's broken, destroyed, and that is kind of what like triggers her, right, to transform into the Herrscher of the Void. So she goes through all that despair to the point where she's like giving up, and at that point there's an internal struggle inside of her, because she is half clone Kiana, half clone of Siren. Siren was the previous Herrscher of the Void, and she also has the Herrscher of the Void core inside of her, because Otto, or Locha, as you guys may know him, Otto, which is the, you know, Locha of Honkai Impact 3rd, Otto in that universe is a psychotic, evil mastermind that is trying to resurrect his dead girlfriend that didn't love him. Very complicated, but yeah, but through this process he experiments and creates the Kiana clone K423, and puts the Herrscher core inside of her, all this stuff. I don't want to ramble on too much, right? And so she ends up going through an internal struggle, and because she's at a moment of despair, Herrscher of the Void kind of overtakes her now and becomes herself again. So the Herrscher of the Void overtakes Kiana's body, because the clone was pretty much made for her as a vessel. And now she proceeds to start attacking what used to be her best friends, her teachers, her loved ones. So she's killing millions of people by creating a Honkai eruption. You guys don't know what Honkai stands for. If you've been playing Star Rail for a long time, it pretty much stands for a apocalyptic event. That is what the Honkai is, right? And so she creates an event where it's almost nearly an apocalypse. And a lot of you may know that Himiko dies in Honkai Impact 3rd, and she dies saving Kiana. She dies fighting the Herrscher of the Void by herself, as she's already dying through Honkai corruption beforehand. Because the thing with Valkyries in Honkai Impact 3rd is they use Honkai energy to make themselves stronger, to be able to fight against the Honkai and the Herschers. And she is already dying, and she could have used this serum on herself to give herself a longer life and live longer, but instead she used the serum after fighting Herrscher of the Void. Instead of killing the Herrscher of the Void and killing Kiana to save the world, she instead uses the serum on Kiana to save her. And it is a very touching and very sad moment. I broke down crying. Many people have broke down crying watching this scene, and that was literally the moment that I fell in love with the game, and many people fell in love with the story of that game. The story picks up from there, and it just keeps getting higher and higher and higher and better and darker, and it is so well done.
生きなさい、キヨナ。これで授業はおしまいよ。
My fear, the fear of disappointment for a Honkai Star Rail is that we may never get anything like that in Star Rail. The story so far has been rushed in so many parts. Pingyun's death, while sad and kind of funny because the memes we got from that were crazy, was seconds done. I didn't even get to feel attached to the character. Maybe they did on purpose because the real Pingyun is still out there somewhere, but I couldn't even get sad about it because I didn't know the character. I didn't get to build a relationship with the character. I didn't get to fall in love with the character's personality or anything like that. She just died and that was it. Bibber Lune, Dan Heng finds out that he is the, not finds out, but we find out that he was in Bibber Lune. And we see a cutscene with Blade that's a minute long and he gets stabbed and he's in Bibber Lune. And it's like, okay, I'm in Bibber Lune now. There's no arc. There's to lead up to that. There's no build up. There's no fucking Android 16. I love, protect the life that I loved. There's nothing. You have the power. I sensed it. There's nothing like that. It is literally just, I got stabbed. I'm in Bibber Lune. Okay, moving on. Fight Fantilia. Jing Yuan gets captured by Fantilia. There's a struggle for 2 seconds and then he turns into fucking Joseph Joestar, summons fucking Star Platinum and just proceeds to clap her fucking cheeks. So there's literally no buildup for anything. And there honestly hasn't been anything in the story that makes me believe that it is going to lead up to something that is going to be sad and dark and depressing that actually makes you feel for the characters and feel more engrossed in the world and attached, right? Because I am of the mind, if you're one of those people that wants happy-go-lucky stories and nothing bad happening in your anime or your game, I'm gonna say what I was gonna say. It's YouTube, I can't say that. But I will say that makes for very boring storytelling because it's not realistic. And I know you're gonna say, it's a video game, it's a fantasy world, it doesn't need to be realistic. The realism of death and loss and life, like that is what makes us remember these stories so much. That is what makes us remember these moments so much and enjoy them. Like, come on, like, if you've watched Dragon Ball Z in the past, you will always remember that Goku turned into a fucking Super Saiyan because Frieza blew Krillin the fuck up. Like that you will never forget that. You will remember Gohan turned to Super Saiyan 2 because he was fucking, Cell was clapping all of his friends and family members' cheeks, and then Android 16 died, and that's what made him snap. There is moments in anime and gaming where the dark parts or the depressing parts really stick with you because it's something that you can relate to, right? And I just don't, I really hope Penacony, as much as I don't want Himiko to die, I feel like it'll be so, I don't even want to say cringe, but like, I guess like expected. Like I kind of expect something to happen to Himiko because it always happens to Himiko. I would much rather like something's about to happen to Himiko and maybe Welt dies trying to save her, because that is a whole reason why he went here in the first place. And I don't know, I really hope in Penacony that we get some more development and the story is longer than fucking like 45 minutes, man. Because every patch so far has been ridiculously short. Comparing it to like Honkai Impact Third, when they have a patch, I know it's more of a story focused game, but they also do events. They do tower defense events, they do farm simulator events. Honkai Impact Third actually has some fun events, and they're pretty unique, right? Like, they're innovative. They don't just like do a web event or anything like that. They actually do events alongside story. They have a week, they have something similar to Memory of Chaos, and they also have a leaderboard for PvP kinda in Honkai Impact Third. It's like a time trial and score trial. The higher you score and the faster you do it, the more, you know, points that you get on the leaderboard, which gives you more currency. That is the kind of whale content in that game, and which I would also like Star Rail to do at some point. I would love that, but might not happen. I hope it does. But the problem with all of this is Honkai Impact Third really does let their story develop, right? Every patch, when a new chapter comes out, those chapters, the story is like 6 hours long, dude. It's not everyone. Once you get to like chapter 20 plus, then they start getting 6 hours long. Some of them are like 2, 3. The early ones, maybe like an hour and a half. But once you get to like chapter 20 and up, which I know a lot of people are going to say, well, the game had time to develop. That was like 5 years. And I get it. I know. That's why I'm saying I have a fear of disappointment, because I don't think Star Rail is going to do this. If I play Penacony 2.0 and it is only like an hour long of main story or 2, I'm going to be very fucking disappointed. I'm going to be honest. I don't want a Doom post or anything like that, because I love the game, but I'm going to be severely disappointed if I do not get at least 5 hours of story from Penacony 2.0. I would like to see them do what Honkai Impact Third does, because at the end of the day, Star Rail is a story RPG with the gacha mechanics, right? It is a story game first, and everything else is, you know, extra, okay? I would like to see them in Penacony really flush out some more characters, like Himiko, Welt, March 7th, a lot of the new characters that are coming out, the Stellaron Hunters, all of that. I would like to see them flush out a little bit. It's probably not going to happen, but like I said, I'm going to give the game another year, because Honkai Impact Third really started progressing that story on chapters 6 and 7, which was in 2.0, 2.5, 2.7, all of that. So I really hope going forward that they really do focus more on the story, because man, my hype for the story has been dying down significantly with every single patch. And I know pretty much everything after 1.2 has been, you know, downhill, and that's just because it's filler patches until even Fantilia. I'm going to be honest, Fantilia to me was, I don't know, I felt nothing. It wasn't really that great of a story. In my opinion, I didn't like how rushed it was and how out of nowhere a lot of the stuff was. And a lot of the lore is kind of hidden in like simulated universe stuff. And I don't know. I just really hope they do a better job at flushing out story content. I want you guys to let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. Are you guys enjoying the story? Have you played Honkai Impact Third? So this is probably more so a question for people that have played both games, or at least seen people play Honkai Impact Third, so they know how much the story is flushed out in Honkai Impact Third. Because I just did Elysian Realm, the final chapter in Honkai Impact Third, and that shit took me 9 hours. All right, and it was very good. The storytelling, the writing, the cutscenes, the fucking fight at the end, everything was amazing. I know there's a lot of bloated dialogue that people worried about, but at least Honkai Impact does it to the point where the dialogue is important for like character development and growth, and it means something at the end, not like Genshin where Paimon is just fucking repeating what the NPC said fucking 2 seconds ago, and they're talking to you like you're a dumb child that doesn't understand what the hell just happened in the conversation. And so obviously that's a Genshin problem. I mean, Star Rail doesn't have that problem either. So again, I would just really like them to do better. I'm going to give them another year, and then after that, I'm going to be like, the story's mid, but I love the gameplay, so I'm just going to keep playing for the events and the, you know, semi-enjoyable story that they're telling so far in the character stories. But yeah, I mean, Yukong Quest, we saw a little bit of darkness, and that to me was the best companion quest that we've seen so far. And I need to see more stuff like that. March 7th's companion quest was the Cocktease, Jingliu's was pretty good too, but it's not nearly as dark as Honkai Impact Third. Honkai Impact Third, you got Kiana killing millions of people when she's under the influence of the Herrscher of the Void, and she's pretty much sitting there as taking a backseat watching all this happen that she has no control over, killing, or, you know, fighting her own friends, killing her teacher. And then when she wakes up and she was saved by Himiko, she has to accept the fact that she did this, to the point that there is such a dark moment in Honkai Impact Third that she points a gun to the bottom of her throat to kill herself. And then she sees Himiko, and Himiko's pretty much like telling her, don't give up.
Kiana, 何を待っているの？
姫子先生。分かった。この完璧じゃない世界を私の望み通りに変えてみせる。
Obviously, that's not why she saved her, for her to kill herself. And she doesn't want her to regret anything, right? And it just gets so good. Things happen with Raiden May and everything. I pray that Star Rail does the same thing, but I just am very worried because at this point, it doesn't seem like the story is heading in that direction at all. And it kind of worries me a little bit. And like one of the biggest things with Honkai Impact Third, and one of the biggest payoffs to like these long story chapters and the buildups, is the animated shorts that they have. I know we've had 2 so far for Honkai Star Rail, but they are nothing in comparison to what we have seen in Honkai Impact Third. Even like early on in Honkai Impact Third, like some of these animated cutscenes, which are in the game, like when you finish the chapter, you get this cutscene in the game. Something I wish Star Rail would do, but I guess it doesn't really make sense for Star Rail because in Honkai Impact Third, it is the conclusion to the arc and the culmination of the arc and the story coming together at the end, and that is why it plays at the end of the arc. And in Star Rail's case, it almost seems like it's a prologue or like a epilogue kind of thing, and not really like something that concludes the story for that patch or chapter. And the thing is, dude, with Honkai Impact Third's animated shorts and even just like their in-game cutscenes, like the amount of hype that you get from those scenes because of the build-up and how invested you are because of how long it took to get to that point, and the fact that they get you so engrossed in the character and their story and what is going on in the future of these characters. The hype that you get from these scenes are out of this world. Like, it is so crazy. I'll show you guys some of the scenes that I'm talking about, and it does not compare. Like, Star Rail does not compare at all, and I think that's mainly because Honkai Impact Third follows a main character, while it also does have arcs talking about other characters like Raiden May and Fuhua, Otto, Elysia from the Elysian realm, so many other characters, the Flame Chasers. There is other characters that are talked about and very much built upon and story-wise that have their own arcs. But at the end of the day, it is essentially, until you get to the end of the 1.0 story, Kiana's arc, is all about Kiana. And the problem with Star Rail is we have a MC with no voice that only does internal monologue and sometimes during events does have dialogue. But then there's like weird stipulations, like with Ruan Mei, he's drugged, so he can't really say what he wants to say. And then with Wawa, there's also him talking, but it's an event and it's like not main story-ish kind of. So I don't know. It just feels like you'll never get that with Honkai Star Rail because you're not following a overall arcing story that's just focused on the main character. It feels that way for Star Rail, but it also feels like it's more just about the Express crew as a whole, and then the other characters that we're meeting on these other planets. So I don't essentially feel like, as of right now, that Honkai Star Rail is focused on telling the story of the MC. It's still very mysterious. We still know nothing about him or her, and I don't know. I just feel like we're never gonna get that. And, you know, another thing, dude, the music that play. I need more music. Like we got for the Kokoli fight. I need more music like that. The music that we've gotten from Honkai Impact 3rd, Night Glow, Elysia Everlasting, Remnant of the Fallen, dude, there's so many, Meteoric Salvation, Everlasting Flames. There's so many amazing songs that go on par with, you know, the cutscene that's going on right now, and adds to the hype and builds to the emotion. And sometimes the song is what made me shed tears at some of these really sad moments. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I know I've been rambling for like 20 minutes. I'm sorry. But this is just something that is like so important to me for Star Rail, because I love this game. And I want the story to be a little bit better, because right now, I'm going to be honest, it is so average comparing it to especially Honkai Impact 3rd. And I would really love to see Honkai Impact 3rd level of storytelling in Star Rail. I think this would take Star Rail over the top as one of the best games I've ever played. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've made it to the end of this video, like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe if you haven't already as well. Ring the notification. I'll be notified for future videos on Honkai Star Rail, Honkai Impact 3rd, Standalone Zone Zero, many other games coming out this year. Wuthering Waves, Grand Blue Fantasy, Relink, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Hell World. I might cover that if it's fun. So also, I would like to announce real quickly, I am going to PAX East, which is in March 21st through the 24th. If you guys are on the East Coast and you want to go to PAX East, but the tickets are sold out, or the tickets are too expensive for you, PAX East did give me 5 tickets to give away. I'm going to be giving away 3. If you guys are watching this as this video goes up, 3 on my Twitch stream tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And I will also be giving away this weekend 2 of them on my Twitter. And these are 4-day passes for the whole weekend. And if you have this pass, you'll actually be able to go on Thursday when the event, the convention starts, an hour before the public goes in. So just keep that in mind. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys are interested in a giveaway, I'll leave the links down below for all that stuff. And thank you guys again for making it to the end of this video. Comment your thoughts on Star Rail 2.0, what you would like to see, what you think about my takes on my fear of disappointment for the story and going forward for 2.0 and 3.0. And I'm going to be looking at all the comments. I really want to get some discussions going and maybe do a future video talking about this or talking about it on stream. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.